Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. I love it when the music does that. It just decides to fade out on its own just before the stream starts. I hope you are all well. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had great weekends. Okay. That's cleaned up. I don't have the project open. Welcome into the stream. We are currently working on and continuing to work on the stream project. It is called the Financial Management Tracker. I was also working on very briefly, for like 5 or 10 minutes, the bot, which is currently running in Visual Studio. But I was getting tired of the coin flip and the die roll die commands being messed up, so I fixed it. Yay! Now I just need to redeploy it, and then yeah, it'll be good. But hi, hello Clayman. I missed your stream this morning. By the time I woke up, by the time I was at the computer, your stream was over. It was so sad. But hi TBD, I caught I caught a lot of your stream. By the time I was done with exercise and came back, you were done. I need to turn some things down. But yes, let us start with heading over to opening a project. Let's open a project. Needed to focus today, so it was a short one. You didn't really miss anything. Anytime you stream and I don't get to watch it, I miss it. I feel it. But that's just my choice. I know what you mean though. But yes. Hello, NanoDev. Hope you're having a great morning so far, or great day so far. Great time of day. I'm still lurking over on Big Gamey's stream with you. So many people to shout out. Let's start with the TBD Gamer. So if you guys do not know TBD Gamer yet, TB Gamer, great. I just shouted out some random person. And we have to wait an entire, what is it, 90 seconds? 120 seconds? We have to wait 120 seconds before we can do an actual shout out now. Anyway, TBD Gamer, that was my stream today. It was a great stream. I liked it. He was working on his game databasing game. What do you call it? Game management system? I forget what you call it. But the busy gamer has 3 followers. Clearly too busy to stream. Well, there's a shout out for the busy gamer. We will get some. I don't have one of those fancy shout out queue things. He calls it Game Trove, Game Library Tracker. There we go. But it's really cool stuff. He is doing the UI in Angular, and he was trying to figure out, he's following an example of somebody's lazy load list and following it exactly, and then running into some situations because they weren't using an external CSS library, or they were using a different one or something, but it just was not cooperating with him. Did you ever get it to work though? And hello rollers. I'm doing fantastic. It's a great Monday. I got some really I don't know if this is good for most people, but I had some really intense productive energy this morning, and I got a bunch done, and it felt really good. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that, but I do welcome this break, this mental relaxation, I guess, although sometimes it is kind of stressful for my brain to think through UI related stuff. But I'm just having a blast converting a VB.NET WinForms application to Blazor. I love doing this kind of work. Absolutely love this kind of work. But let's see. Has time passed? Are we good? Did I talk for a couple minutes? Yes, thank you, Dukasoft. You are the best. Oh my gosh. Look at him go. Man. Awesome. Good times. Okay, so let's hop over to the desktop. Yes. Look at him go. Absolutely. Fantastic. So what we've been doing on the stream lately is applying some restyling to our UI. I still have Photoshop open for the thumbnail from earlier. Where's Figma? Let me set this as my active browser. Hopefully it'll remember that that's my active browser. We'll get it to give me this one, maybe? Do a .NET watch. Okay, so our stream application that we worked on used to look like this for the landing page. The rest of the pages, they do have a different background now, but they're still laid out like this. I haven't changed the styles on them very much, but we got a redesign. We went through the whole process of role-playing as a UI designer and coming up with these redesigns for the landing page, and now we're implementing them, and we've gotten pretty far. We're currently working on styling the mobile view. I'm gonna really enjoy doing that one. We are getting pretty close to finishing it. iHTTP client factory. I completely thought that this entire set of windows, actually, you know what? That is a duplicate of what this window used to have. But yes, definitely feel free to chime in, talk about your weekend, how it went. We heard about Clay's day. He's focusing, he's in get stuff done mode. So wishing you the best, the most productive work time. There's a shout out for him. I didn't think I finished talking about what TBD Gamer actually does. So today he was working on that games library to track his physical games, and he usually works on a project called Liquid Sky, which is a project management or project planning application that is geared more towards developers, and I just love the idea of this. So if you think of something like Jira or Azure DevOps, except more developer focused, it just sounds like a really useful tool and application to have. But Clayman has been working on a game called Epic Hero Game. You can check it out on Steam. Did I ever? If not, I'm gonna do it now. We did. Oh, Dukasoft did. Yes. Okay. You can check it out on Steam. I'm telling you, Dukasoft is such. Oh man, he's just such a helpful person. Non-bot persons. But yeah, check it out on Steam. It has a very Dragon Ball feel. I don't know if you've played any of the Dragon Ball video games, but they have this kind of epic feel to them, and that's what he was going for, where you're like destroying terrain during these epic battles, and it just looks like it's going to be so much fun. So he's really wanting to get that polished and ready for a demo. Check out his streams whenever you get the chance. We'll get some more shout outs going. S***N once we're able to. Oh, my nose. Oh, man. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Not gonna sneeze. It got really, really close to sneezing, but I decided not to. All right, so this is what it looks like currently in responsive mode. I'm really not happy with this hero section. Bless you for the future. Thank you. So I was trying to make the hero section look like the design. And then I was like, I don't like it in this little border thing, but at the same time, I think I need to try getting this gradient border on here. Whew. So we have two options for this type of gradient border. One of them is to make it actually a border with a gradient, and another one is just to have a container div with the image and then make the image have a padding. But does the padding honor the border radius? We'd have to give the image also the same border radius. I think we can use a gradient like this on the image, on the div. So let's fix the sizing real quick so that it is no longer just taking up full width. Oh, itchy. Index. And then we have a main page hero component. Thank you, Soft. Our next shout out is going to be for a game dev who I haven't really had the opportunity to catch very often, but seeing all of the clips and everything for his streams on Big Gamey's stream, they definitely look very fun and interesting. So check out NanoDev. Hanging out, lurking here with us for a little bit. Super nice of you to hang out. Shout out given. You can lurk forever now. NanoDev. Nanda-dev. Where are we at? We are trying to find where this component is actually styled, and it is in the component itself. And here is our media query. And this is where I removed the padding completely from it. Idle wrapper is not the thing. App preview wrapper is the thing that has the image in it. So if I gave this thing, yeah. So I need to put the padding back on the hero, but I probably need to make it smaller. Oh, come on. CSS autosync. Thank you. Wait, it did work. I was gonna get sad, but I didn't need to. Okay, so our padding, I think on everything else we have a default padding mobile. You can see it here on the component right underneath. Let's move that up. There we go. Yeah, I really don't know why we keep losing our max width, but I'll blame the footer. For now, let's only look at the top and left edge, and then assuming does one of two things. It either makes you look competent or incompetent. Yeah. I'm sure that's how the saying goes. What am I looking for? Why am I looking for stuff? So we're going to take this image and we're going to give it not the image, but the container for this image. We're going to give it a padding. And for now, let's just make it 0.4 rem with a border radius of 0.4 rem. Okay, and we're going to give it a border that'll be 0.4, or no, not, wait, what am I doing? I was about to mix the two options that I just talked about, which are we can either have the entire container's background be the gradient from top left to bottom right, or we can have a border who has a gradient from top left to bottom right. However, I just gave the container a padding, which was the second half of the first option. If we make the background of the container be the gradient, then we should give it a padding so that the image is inside of the edges so that it makes it look like a border. But we're just going to do a border. So let's just, I'm pretty sure the app preview has a padding of 0 as is. So let's just verify. I know. That was an accident. Okay, so border is going to be 0.4 rems. Yeah, let's just do this for now as our default border so that we can see the size of it. Then overflow is going to be clip so that we can get these rounded corners. That's not going to give us the rounded corners. So we do need a border radius on the image as well that matches. Come on. Interesting. So the inner corners of the border are still square. Box sizing, content box. Excuse me. I said content box, please. Okay, thanks. That box sizing didn't do what I was expecting it to. So I was hoping that the box sizing would move it to where the border is outside of the content. And then the rest of the sizing would be from the padding in. And it is, I think. That is kind of what that looks like. Interesting. But I'm not quite getting the rounded corners on the inside of the content. Is there a way to log SQL commands from EF core to single line logs? Yes. Do I know how? I remember seeing something along those lines, and it's a configuration that you do in program.cs, but as single line logs. It's accepting a delegate with a string action. And also high rain dance. Sorry, I didn't mean to not greet you. It's a really good question. Let's see. I haven't had to manually customize the logging that it does. What kind of information are you wanting to include in the log? I'm just trying to buy myself time while I look this up. Just the command itself. And you can do that in a single line. It looks like there are 2 overloads. One of them is log2 and then a method to call that takes a string. Oh, never mind. It's still one overload. You're right. Action of string. Oops. Console enables sensitive data logging. Enable detailed errors, filtering with log level. There are multiple overloads, but not for the things that I thought. Context disposed and initialized. Yeah, so if you even look at if you look at your console, if you use something like .NET Watch or you have the external term window, because you happen to be launching using the application using Kestrel, then you'll see EF Core log by default to console, and it'll show you the entire SQL statement that it generates, which is a little bit bigger than one line usually. There could be like message processing. I could just do something with SQL content, but I guess there is no string replace, but there would be. So if you do the log2, and you have Serilog as a dependency that you can create. So let's see if I can make an example. That would be in my shared server. Shared server. Okay, so let's say I had Serilog added to this project. Maybe. No guarantees that I will. Well, imagine, I know, you're going to start loading because I started saying something. Imagine that I had Serilog as my logger. Then, let's say that I had a SQL logging service. And that SQL logging, oh man, how would you do that? Yeah, you could still do this. Public static SQL logging service, public static log EF core something, oh, void log EF core string message iService. So you can do it a couple ways. You can use the iService provider directly, and then do service provider dot get required service Serilog or whichever logger you're using, or you can ask for an iLogger logger. And then you can process the message in here. So if you check to see if it's one of the valid types of SQL statements that you're looking for, then you could tell it to do something specific. So process the message and then log it out to your logger. And that way in here, when you're using your dependency injection in your main app for your logger, no, it'd be in extensions right here. So find and man context, and you said that it was here in options, I think, or maybe we saw it together. Options dot log2 and then what did I call it? SQL logger login service dot log EF core message. Then we could get the service provider here, but we would need the actual. Oh yeah, it is options, and it's options dot get required service iLogger. Why are you being weird? Really? Options doesn't have get required service. It does too. I mean, you could also do get logger factory. Also another one. And you just pass in the logger factory. But yeah, I could have sworn that options does have a get required service. But anyway, that way, this static method that you created, you control, you can tell it to do whatever you want with the message itself. That's this static class that I just created. Yeah. And then you're passing the whatever implementation of logger happens to be provided to it. And again, this could be logger factory if you want. And that way you create a new logger. So same above is what you did. Options, yeah, you just have it in line. Yep. Yeah. And again, I'm sure if I thought harder about this, there would be a way to make this testable so that you're not using a static class. Instead, you're using an interface, and then you can use dependency injection to get that interface here. So options.get required service, SQL logger service dot log ef core message. Thank you so much for the follow. Is that a follow? It's a follow. Thank you so much for the follow. Both standard and added log2 logs appear. There is another option for telling it to not log to console. Like in debug, it definitely will log to both, but I kind of remember another option that you can set. And again, this is in the back of my mind, or like somewhere way back here. I remember watching one of the community stand-ups, the Entity Framework community stand-ups, where they were talking all about logging. And there was a way to tell it which log syncs to use and how to tell it to stop logging to another, or logging to the default. But I cannot remember that off the top of my head. Oh, this says changing the log level for an event, like a specific message. That's cool. Yeah, I'm sure you've already been looking at this. I'm sure there is information about it. I only picked the first hit. I'm sure there is, yeah, interception. This is the word. Or context, interceptors. Interceptors are different from logging and diagnostics in that they allow modification or suppression of the operation being intercepted. So this is the case where you would have it not log out for the things you don't want it to. Yeah. Excuse me. I hope that got filtered out. Yeah, I still don't know what you mean by single line either. Yeah, TBD Gamer uses interceptions for publishing events and doing updates of last updated. Very cool. So you can even do operations within this interceptor. That's really cool. But yeah, this is the line that I would go down, which is EF core customize log, and then prevent log to console, maybe suppress SQL queries logging and entity framework core. So this might give you the information about how to find which configuration setting will tell you which one is the SQL statements themselves, which is Microsoft Entity Framework Database Command. And here it is, minimum level override, and this is probably where you add the .log2 instead, or whatever the interceptor is. And here's Serilog using syncs console, and instead of using console, you would use whatever you're using. Event log. I don't want to wait. Yes, log interceptor as well. So that one would be here for more information. TBD says, out of pure curiosity, what's the use case of needing to get the logging in such a way? If I can ask, you can't ask. I mean, you absolutely can. It's a very good question. Both standard and added with log2 logs appear, so kind of weird. An interesting thing is that there is no information about that on the internets. No, not nevermind. Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to at least help you get going in a good direction. So hopefully that is helpful. Feel free to ask about any further information that we can try to help with. So if I give this image a border radius, then it seems like maybe the overflow clip is making it so that the image gets pushed outside. And box sizing content box isn't doing what I'm expecting it to. And I think that box sizing border box is the default, right? Why did you stop CSS auto syncing? We were having a very brief discussion about Blazor Hot Reload. Oh, the app actually stopped because I need to get rid of this source generator. Yeah, not a problem, Ring Dance. Feel free to ask anytime. I know it's the go-to, it's just, is it the default? I mean, I guess the easiest way to find out. MDN border box CSS. We don't think it's a default. Yeah, so content box is the default. So let's try border box, see what happens. Okay, so what this one should have done, oh, right. I probably broke it by adding all of this. Save that. Delete. All right. This always makes me feel so claustrophobic. I go from working on a screen that's like this big and have it at 4K. Oh, dang it. There it goes again. To working on this 1080 monitor for this stream, and it's like, can't breathe. Okay, what do we got? Let's inspect, and this thing should have a border radius of 0.4, which it does, but if we look at it, we can see that the, oh, I need to make this border a different color. Oh yeah, you showed this on Big Gamey stream, and I was wanting to see it. I didn't actually get a chance to watch. I need sound on this. Hold on. So Dukasov said, was out filming the nature today? There's always that odd duck that goes in front of the cam, right? Turn the music down a bit. Oh my gosh. I love the boomerang thing. Making them walk backwards. This is awesome. You're having too much fun editing, aren't you? Jackboot. I really do hope you're having fun with this because I enjoy these so much. I hope it's not just work for you to edit videos. Oh my gosh. Oh. Awesome. I loved it. TVD said, you know what I dislike? Working on something on stream and struggling, and then you sit there thinking, and it all just comes together and works fine. We're so similar, TBD, but there are so many things that are just like, we feel the opposite. Because like, I'll talk about a thing on stream and I'll be like, I'm going to be struggling with this for a little bit. And then after the stream, I look at it for a half second and I'm like, it's right there. And then it all just comes together and it's all good. And I love that feeling. The same but different, you know? Oh. Wait, what? That is one of the things I need to turn off. Oh, yeah, true. So then did you figure out what was going on with your scroll? Is that what this is about? I don't know what I need to set this to. The image needs to not be with 100 VW anymore. I think that's all I needed to do. Yeah, I don't know what... Oh, this has to be the padding that I just put on here. No, not the padding. Scroll was me doing too much with the wrong variables, and then selection was me not telling the row it could be selected. So I have answers. This happened with these images here, where it's like, I want the container to wrap the contents. But for whatever reason, there's this gap at the bottom, almost like the position of the image is absolute and moved up and left. I don't see where that's happening. Because you can see the border. I wouldn't know the proportions for this. What if, and everyone knows what this means, what if we put the border, on the image itself and not the app, not its container? Duh. Oh my goodness. Okay, now let's figure out how to do the gradient. Var border gradient. And so we need to create a variable called border gradient in our where's our border stuff all over the place? Here we go. All right, border gradient. I don't know what this is, but it's going to give us a start. Come on. Maybe we can't use that property as the border itself. It's border image. It's called border image. So we make the border gradient something normal to our application, like the default border color or something. log event enricher. Man, this really sounds like that community stand-up. EF core community stand-up logging. 2021, it would have been around these times. There's a new one that I haven't seen. Oh, from Serilog. Okay. But still. Oh, right. There was even a logging thing that was set on the DB context when setting it up. But anyway, I would strongly recommend checking out the .NET community stand-up for EF Core. They have a few videos on logging. Aha. Okay, so here is a searchable text version or HTML version of all of their stand-ups. I'm gonna keep that. That goes in my other browser. Programming. Come on. .NET. EF. Thanks for helping me find that, Rain Dance. I wouldn't have found it otherwise. Hello, Craptine. It is going very well. Thank you for asking. How's it going with you? And when I say very well, I mean that there is a confusion. Right, border image is what I said we need to do. I needed to pick a default border color. And that border color is going to be, I don't, where's our purple? Purple 4 button outline color. That's the one. Oops, button outline color. Which kind of bites because I want that to be my default border color. What to call it, because we have a default border color, which is defined somewhere up here. Default border color. And I don't think that I want to change everything to be this color by default. Let's find out what that looks like. Purple 4. Let's get back to you. It's going to change these. I said it's going to change these. Every time Big Amy starts looking through sound clips, it throws me. Oops. Hard wrapper. Color, primary, background image. Wait, that's on body. We're up here. The card itself, not the wrapper. Okay, so the wrapper has a border color of primary text color. Okay, that's why I didn't update those. I think I can live with that. Hello, Foolish Novel. Hope you're having an amazing day. As far into it as you might be. We need 3 stops for our color gradient on the border image. So this was going to be default border color, or default border color. Was it only the default border color? Yes, default border color. Got it. Spamtastic. Then the border image is going to be var border gradient. And that should change so that we have a what? Unknown. Well, let's just see if it's because the stuff that Copilot gave us just is special and is not actually the way that you're supposed to do a gradient. Let's do it at a stop of 0. Well, you don't need to put a number for 0. And then a stop of 50% is going to get to that bright color. And then let's just do 100% at whatever this color was, just to see it happen. But we'll choose the right colors here shortly. Oh, did I do those backwards? Does the color stop number come last? Oh man. Oh man. Hello, Marcus Voice Coder. Crapteen says, I had a rough day, couldn't start car in the morning, then drove 150 kilometers and got puncture. Was fun. Feel strong, man. That does not sound fun. We may differ on what we call fun. Marcus is here. He said, I just clicked on your video link on your screen instead of chat. Was that a bad thing? Oh, for Dukasov's thing? maybe? Maybe. Oh, for EF core. Okay. Okay, I am doing linear gradient wrong, or the image is wrong. So let's find, I could have sworn that I was already using a linear gradient in here. Yeah, okay, so is this one from the template? Linear gradient, the angle, first stop, second stop, and it's color, space, and then the stop location. So maybe I do need 0% in here. No? What's going on? We got the angle. We got first stop, second stop, third stop. Oh my goodness, I need to mute that tab. These sound effects. Snobble. Like a parent trying to call their children. TBD, Snabble, just one of you. So Snubble says, I've been playing Shapes too. When I went to bed last night, I saw endless belts of resources flowing around. I don't know Shapes too. There's a lot of things that I don't know. Whoa. It's like a 3D, whatchamacallit game. I mean, I guess that game is 3D, but it looks 2D. The one that everyone talks about, yep. There goes my brain. I can't brain stuff. But there were tons of resources floating around. Factorio is the one. Thank you, Snubble. I'm good at this. What's going on with my border? Image. Border is good. Maybe if I didn't specify the color here, it wouldn't be so weird. Nope, it is weird. I know I've done this before. It's sequel to Shapes 5 head. That makes perfect sense. You start with Shapes 5 head, and then you go to Shapes 2. Oh gosh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna try the second approach since this one isn't doing quite what I want it to. And the second approach is we're going to not here. We're going to main hero. That's not main hero. We're going to put a padding on preview wrapper of 0.4 rems. We're going to have a background of var image gradient. Good. Yeah, it's like every single one of the corners got the gradient. It's very odd. I can see now that the gradient is going from bottom left to top right. So we can either change the colors around. Andreas, thank you so much for the raid. Shout out. Andreas. No. I don't have your... Oh dear. Anyway, did I? I blame me, Andreas. Anyway, here's a shout out for Andreas. If you guys don't know Andreas Sastev, he is a fantastic developer working on his own game engine. Does a lot of really, really cool stuff. Just a really cool person in general. There it is. There it is. It's a ducky raid. Treat us like one of your duckies. Speaking of duckies, I wonder if it's just in, if I can control Shift T and it'll bring it up. Firefox, what did you do? Just open. Are you doing an update or something? Of course you are. This was a video that Dukasoft took not too long ago. Wow. Awesome. Very cool rain dance. You just made Andreas swoon. Anyway, what were you working on today? I was lurking in your stream, but I wasn't actually listening or paying attention because I'm a terrible person. I lurk on just about everyone's streams and don't really have the volume turned up very much. In the mornings I have TBD turned up, and then in the afternoons I have Big Gamey turned up a little bit, except when he's looking for sound effects, then I have to turn them down. But, oh man. And like King Hits was, he rated us not too long ago as well, or just said hi or something. Anyway, and I started, I followed him and now he's playing a game. And I don't like watching game streams when I'm working. I do like watching game dev streams. All right, let's put Red Cabin in his place. Put Red Cabin in his place. I meant in place of King Hits. All right. Okay. Development, developers, develop. Cookies. I was working on getting dynamic config files to work with my plugins. So where you are changing the configurations outside of the application and they still work? Is that what a dynamic config file is? Do tell more. And oh, actually, tell more if you have the time to. I know you're done with your stream and I don't want to hold you up from anything you want to do post-stream. So I really, really appreciate the raid. Thank you so very much. Thanks so much for hanging out to Irish John Games. I don't think it's been 2 minutes yet, but yes, it has. And of course, Irish John Games, another game developer streamer that I love lurking and working on his stream. But yeah, so Andrea said, and I had an issue where the same type wasn't being recognized as the same type. It was because C# was loading the assembly twice at different points. So even though it was the same type, C# thought they were different because they were technically two different assemblies. It's like trying to reference the same property on two instances of an object. Same type of object, two different instances. I got it. A classic. I've never ever run into that. I didn't even know that was possible. Cast class A into A. Oh man. Didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, let's get rid of this border image because that's not actually doing what I think it should be doing. Let's get rid of the border itself. We keep the border radius on the image. We keep the border radius on the wrapper. And then Andrea said, no, well, I could, but that is for later. I wanted an XML config file to be extended with the config for a plugin, but I needed to write my own XML parser for it, kinda, because plugins can be added or removed by a player, not a dev. So in-game runtime configurations that get updated by players. Unless I'm still misinterpreting and it's just on there. Anyway, used to is the keyword there. The thing that solved it was to just have a contract library a contract library, which the plugin and the engine can use, then C# was fine. So essentially one place for both the game, where the plugin and the engine reference the same assemblies. Wow. It kind of sounds like relational databases. Think about it hard enough. Okay. We can make this about half to make it look a little bit better. And Snubble is responding, yes, this usually happens when writing plugins. I used to tinker with app domains too to allow unloading. I'm not sure if app domains work anymore. And Andrea says, the config file is not going to be able to be live edited, but maybe in the future. Okay, so that's the one that you want to do in the future. For now, having everything known during startup is the goal. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Okay, so 0.4 is too big. Let's go for a 0.2 on Jew. Actually, it's the bottom still. Why are we still getting this extra drip? Here, I'm gonna cheat. Place items. There. Which means that this can probably get bumped back up to 4 since it's closer to the edge and they match up a little bit better. How big is it in the design? Yeah, it's about that size. Cool. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoy. Oh, I guess one thing that might be helpful is if there is anyone new to the stream, my name is One Lion, or just 1 or 11D or 11111 One Lion or 2 Lion or whatever you feel like calling me. And I am a .NET developer. I have been working on this financial management project on stream. And what this is intended to do is give users the opportunity to maintain their finances by manually entering their transactions. That's a mouthful. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have a receipt for a car wash, for example. It's in front of you. You go into the system and you're logging on this date. I paid car wash subtotal of $18. Of $18. I think you are 3 Lion because 11 in binary. Yes, definitely that too. That absolutely works. You can also call me Umberto. Whatever. Anyway, it all works. Guy, hey you, person in the corner. So you enter this, add it, you get your line items, you click on the the button that's not in the design that submits it. You also have a thing called a posted date. So where you might make a purchase on a specific date, but it doesn't post to your financial institution until a different date. So that we put in there as well. You get a summary of all of your accounts that you're tracking, what their balances are currently, and the pending amounts from those balances, and then the adjusted total, so your working capital is what I would call this. Yeah. And so you're essentially doing this all manually, not connected to financial institutions, not connected to API services that go and automatically get information for you. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I'm already doing this manually myself. It helps me to pay attention to the things that I'm buying and where I'm spending money and where I could choose not to spend that money, because there are a lot of things where money is just going to a service that I don't use, for example. So I'm already doing that. I've been doing it since about 2014, but I have it in Microsoft Access. And I'm like, I am a .NET developer and I've been using Microsoft Access to track my finances. Not even QuickBooks, not even any of the other financial applications that were intended to be used for this type of thing. but just Microsoft Access. And it, for the most part, it looks like this in Access, where I have my transactions list down at the bottom, and then I have payments, deposits, and transfers with the from to all the information for it. And I'm like, I want to make it into a web app. Why isn't this a web app? Especially since I access the Access database from multiple computers, and I have an Excel workbook that has a lot of information about my finances, from the current amounts to my month, my entire year at a glance with projections on it, to taxes, to dates and stuff like that. So anyway, I have it all there. It's just in Microsoft Access and Microsoft Excel. So I'm like, why not put this inside of a web app? Because that's what I do for a living. I make web apps and I enjoy it. So let's enjoy it. So anyway, this is what it used to look like. We've recently done a redesign on it, and I'm trying to apply that redesign now. We are currently working on the mobile layout view thing. And so I'm trying to make this gradient. Yeah, I'm trying to make this gradient. I also remember doing something with the opacity like this before. I can't remember how I did that though. But first, let's finish tackling this gradient. I thought I could just use a border image that would give me the gradient, but that's not quite working the way that I thought it should. So instead, I am putting a background. Oh gosh, visibility, hidden. I'm putting a background on the container, and then giving that container a padding, and then the image also gets a border, and that way it looks like, or not a border, a border radius, and that makes it look like the image is the thing that has the border on it, when really it's the background. Oh man. Canhorn, thank you so much for the resub. I'm calling you Canhorn because I can. You said I can, so I don't feel like calling you Mr. Anhorn, if that's okay. That's a TBD thing. I think it's very respectful, but yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for the sub. Really, really, really appreciate it. You guys are too kind. You know that you never have to sub. It's welcome, and I'm not going to stop you from being as kind as you are. Just appreciate it very much. All right, let's rotate this thing the other direction. So let's rotate it negative 45 degrees. Whoop. There we go. We'll put the dark purple on the top left. Was it dark purple? Light purple. Wait, maybe I do want to add 45 degrees because I want to start with the dark color just because I do. What? Purple. Did I give you guys names? I don't think I gave them names. So I think we found out that this purple here is the lighter purple, and then the lower numbered purples are the darker purples. Let's verify. Easiest way is F12 on it. Darker purple at the lower number, lighter purple. Let's go all the way up to purple 5 and see what that does. So you'll start with purple 1. Purple 1. Nope. You can make me? Oh, can we not? Oh, that's a var. I was like, can we not use CSS custom properties in gradients? You can. You can. I'm just being special. But these aren't even CSS custom properties. These are Sass. Cataton is here too. It is going very well. Thank you so much for asking. It's been a fantastic day so far. Started off my morning with a whole bunch of motivation, with a whole bunch of productive energy. Got a bunch done, and I'm still flying with it. Flying with it? Is that even a phrase? I just made up a phrase. Still flying with it. I'm still going with it. Still running with it. And 8-Bits is here. Man, all of the amazing, wonderful peoples coming in to hang out. I appreciate anyone who is out there and lurking and not saying anything. You are just as amazing, and thank you so much for your energy. For John, I hope everything is going well with your friend that is coming to visit, or has come to visit, or will be still coming to visit. Those never sound good. Cataton says, I ain't doing. Gosh, I can read. I ain't doing great. It's better now. Really, it's just emotions. I hit the snooze button on coming back to bite my butt. Well, I'll be fine. Let me see if I can understand that. It's better now. Really, it's just emotions. I hit the snooze button on coming back to bite me in my butt. I don't think I fully understand. Canor says, I am crushing a backlog of features, fixes on an open source project. Awesome. Yeah, I do love that feeling. Right now, I think the reason that I'm getting the high of getting a lot done is because I am back to the thing that I absolutely love doing, which is converting from one legacy application type to a modern application type. So I'm working in VB.NET currently, or I'm taking a VB.NET WinForms application and turning it into Blazor. I'm integrating it into an existing application. Part of that was turning this application from .NET 5 using Blazor to .NET 8. Yeah, I love cleaning up tech debt. Absolutely. But it's more than just tech debt. It's people that have an established system and they're like, we love the way that the system works, and this is like the entire role play that we've been doing for this application. They love the way their legacy system works. They're used to it. They have people that have been in their organization for 10, 15, 20 plus years, and they don't want to change the functionality. They don't want them to have to learn too much new stuff about it. And so I really enjoy taking those limitations and still being able to modernize the applications, make it smooth, make it fast for them with a familiar feel to it, even though it looks slightly different, where instead of menu items, they have these dockable toolbar type things, for example. But they can still recognize this is in the same place that a menu bar would be. So these are the same functions that I had before on that menu bar. They're represented by icons now. They get used to the icon. They know what each thing does. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm definitely working on cleaning the UI quirks up during this upgrade, as well as adding another function down here for sample tracking, which is the desktop application currently. But yeah, we had a pretty big discussion about this whole making the UI look like the actual form that it's going to print out, and they definitely want to keep it that way, so I'm not gonna stop them, I guess. Even though I can imagine what this would look like if these were like little data entry sections instead of the entire form, but I at least set it up to where they can use keyboard up and down and tab and shift tab to go left and right, so it still kind of feels similar to what they were used to using. So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's why it's so much fun. Emotions I put away. Okay, so it was the emotions that you hit the snooze button on. I got it now. So it was emotions that I hit the snooze button on coming back to bite me in the butt. Ah, yes. I am a endorser of processing your emotions. Like, I struggle with it because my personality type doesn't really value emotion or emotional interactions. It's all information based, but I know that it's there and it affects me, and I feel it if I leave it alone and ignore it or put it off, and then it explodes. And then I got into some pretty bad habits that I'm not proud of, but definitely I'm working through. Anyway, so yes, I definitely recommend that. One of the things that people don't really take into account when you say pay attention to your emotions and process them is actually being allowed to feel the way you feel and not trying to stifle them and say, this is not how I should be feeling because people don't feel this way, or this is bad, this is wrong to be sad or angry or frustrated or annoyed or whatever negative emotion. But to be given space to actually feel that, I think that should be more accepted in our society. And I think it is getting more and more accepted, but then there's also going too far with it. So finding a good balance would be nice. Yeah, exactly. That kind of phrase. It's like, Mama didn't raise no whiny bitch. And it's like, but she did raise a human, right? And humans, by nature, have emotions. And sometimes those emotions are pretty whiny. So, yeah. Be the way you are. I support you. Yeah. Okay. Um, with those amazing statements out of the way, we have actually made it look pretty close. Aside from the width. Emotions, I like Mexican. Don't know this one. Can you explain it further? I don't think I understand it, but I kind of understand it. Maybe something lost in translation. I like cuisines. Deal with emotions. I am emotionally stunted. Hi, Copperbeard. Copperbeardy. Hope you're doing fantastic today. Yeah, I definitely still struggle a lot with allowing emotions to flow freely, but most of the time it's because I don't acknowledge them, and I don't really experience them the way that a lot of people do. But when I do experience them, it's pretty intense, and it's usually when it blows up. When I've been ignoring it for too long and then it just blows up. The joke is the hypothetical me doesn't know what emotions are and thinks it's some sort of Mexican dish. Yeah. It's some kind of dish. Best served. I can't think of anything clever to say. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not an ENTP. Oh. Okay, where are we? It's best if it's served. Okay, that works. Speaking of served, I called in to check in on my jury duty. This is totally related. I called in to check on whether I had jury duty last week, and I didn't have to report this week. However, I have to check again on Friday of this week. So then next week, I have no idea what the stream is going to be like if I get called in for jury duty. But this is going to be the thing for the next 4 weeks. In the US, we have a, I would say that it's optional, but if you are part of society, yeah, it's so annoying that it's like every Friday, check after 3:30, and maybe you'll get called in. It's like, no, just, I've never had it happen like this before. It was always just once. Like, just call in on this Friday and we'll let you know whether you need to report or not. So anyway, you get a letter in the mail if you're a US citizen, and bunches of other stuff, or not even bunches of other stuff. They find out your name and phone number and address and all that stuff somehow. But because you are part of society, one of your civic duties is to judge people who have committed a crime or who are accused of committing a crime. And that's one way you give back to society. And I really want to opt out of that because while I judge people, yeah, exactly. TPD Gamer, he beat me to the punchline. While I judge people normally, I don't take pleasure in it, for one. And for two, I don't want to judge people on things that are life altering potentially. It's like, oh man. I used to work in human resources where I had to make some not good decisions, and I know how that wore down on me emotionally, even though I wasn't really realizing that it was an emotional thing. Not as a judge, as a panel of peers listening to evidence being presented for and against a defendant. And so someone gets accused of robbing a store, hurting someone else, doing something illegal. Then 12-ish people get selected to sit on a panel while a lawyer says, here is the pertinent information about this person's character. Here, another lawyer says, here are things that indicate that this person actually committed this crime. Here's evidence for that. Here are testimonies from people that say this person is an upstanding person and would never do that. Here is evidence showing that they were at the scene, they had motive, whatever. And you're just sitting there on this panel with these other people that have no information about this thing other than what the lawyers are telling them, and they make a decision. This person is guilty, this person is not guilty. And then the judge takes that, and then they say, okay, jury says you're guilty, you're guilty. It's called a right to trial by peers. Yeah. Right to trial by a jury of your peers, something like that. Anyway, point is, your peers are the ones that are listening to the evidence presented, and it has more to do with who's a better salesman, which lawyer is a better salesman, and did you happen to get a whole bunch of people that are empathetic or sympathetic to certain things. Like, part of the jury selection process is for the lawyers to be like, you look like you would be sympathetic to my side of the case. I think I could manipulate you. And I don't want to be a part of that. So you, a non-professional with other non-professionals, some of them could be professionals, I don't know, are asked what you think of the case. Yes. And then they come up with, sometimes it has to be unanimous, sometimes it is majority, sometimes it's minor majority, whatever that one is called. But yes. Yeah, only a little. But like, they try to make it fair because the jury selection process is rigorous, where, like, I don't know, the last time that I needed to report to be selected for jury duty, there were maybe 50 people that were getting interviewed, essentially. Like, we were all in the courtroom sitting in the stands or whatever they're called, and the lawyers were asking each person questions, and the judge was like, is there a reason you feel you should be excused? And I was like, I have a bunch of to do, and being paid to be on a panel of my peers is not worth the time that I'm going to lose. Like, at the time, like, oh my gosh, the last time that I was needed to appear, we were in the middle of migrating from our on-premises servers to the cloud. Like, in the middle, data was being transferred as I was there, and the apps were down because they told us to shut down our data center. So anyway, yeah, well, I'm not sure it's flawed, and you have to 99% sure that the person is guilty to judge guilty. in criminal cases. So if you feel doubt, you should let go. In Sweden, the people that decide the verdict are appointed by elected. That could also be seen as flawed. Yeah, I mean, just about anything where one person is determining the fate of another person based off of actions that they may or may not have done, and that person is a third party to it that doesn't know anything about it, has its pros, has its cons. There is no perfection in that kind of system. But we do our best or something. Anyway, moving on. I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's why, yeah. I was just saying that we might not know what's going on with the streams next week, depending on whether or not I get called in for jury duty. Oh, it's just so frustrating to me right now because I am a small business owner, and if I don't work, if I don't bill, I don't get paid. And it's a little bit more money per hour than I would get being on jury duty. And it's not like my company has, my personal company that I am the sole owner and sole operator of has ways for me to get jury duty compensation, because it's just me paying myself out of money that I've already made. Blah. Moving on. How did we do? Okay. We are farmers. We are here. This image is going to eventually get replaced. I am happy with it now that I see it the way that it would look. Are you zoomed or anything? No. Okay. Now that I see it the way that it would look, if it was styled correctly based off of the design, the designer did a pretty good job. We just need an actual image for the rest of the app. Make sure you let them know you are a small business owner. Where I live, they will let people go because it is a hardship. Yeah, and I did do the filling in the thing, and then the message that I got back from whoever it was that sends messages back that denies your request to be dismissed. It's like, we can't dismiss by using this method based off of work hardship. You have to appear if you are called in, and then you can tell the judge that you will be facing hardship. And I'm like, so if I have to appear there, it usually takes about 4 hours out of the day just to appear for the questions. And those are 4 work hours that I could be billing for, so there's still a hardship. So obviously I am just going to do what I always do, take my laptop, keep working for as long as I can, pause my timer when I'm not actually doing work, and try to work around it. It's just stressful. It's annoying. I said on the previous stream that I was talking about this, that it would be cool if, and I know that it's not, this is like ideal, so probably not possible to happen, but it would be cool if there was a volunteer service, you know, a pool of volunteers that sign up to be jury members. Like, maybe they would get enough people that it'd be a varied, a wide variety of people interested in being jury members. I understand why it should be more random the way that it currently is. It just would be cool if, you know? Because I know. Okay. We're moving on to... Right. So I reduced the amount of text in the hero section to just get your finances on track. And then I kept the same amount of text here. So that's fine. And then the get started button, I do need to make bigger still. So let's go ahead and do that. and maybe put it in the center for mobile view. Yeah, because what if you are on this size screen, chances are you are looking at it on a mobile device, and it's possible that I might even have another media query for if we're on a screen as opposed to a device and it is this width, then we can still keep it styled more like you would see a narrower window but not quite mobile, because right now we're kind of looking at it like this. And in fact, I'm going to keep it like this for now. But if you do have it at this size, you're most likely on a mobile device, and you would want bigger interaction buttons. Because there were some design guidelines where they were talking about not only are you considering the size of the text based on the screen size, but also if it is a device, think that most people hold a mobile device around this close to their face. And when it's this close, you're considering the actual text size appearance at that distance. And so we're going to have to figure out whether this matches those guidelines or not. But like, I can already tell that this title seems a bit much. Almost like I want to change the base font size. What would I call it? Base font size mobile? Base font size, yeah. Base font size mobile. Let's just see what happens if we change it to 14 pixels. Again, this is without doing the research that I probably should be doing. Media. Max width, BP small. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, and then that makes this super small. But I do like it better already. And again, it's going to be nice when I fix the horizontal scrolling issue, because then we'll have the padding all the way around. But right now it's starting to come together. Yeah. I need to move. Oh, we are still in the hero section. I was about to move on to the next section, where we need to change the section title font sizes and then make everything left aligned, except for maybe the button. Because like, as you're scrolling down, your eyes typically tend to stick to the left edge as you're reading content. Man. Yeah, it's got to be the footer that's causing this. What happens, at least for now, so I can get rid of the horizontal scroll, what happens if... What happens if we make you footer? It's actually just the semantic HTML element footer. Overflow hidden. No horizontal scroll. Oh, except for I only need overflow X hidden. Overflow Y. Oh no. Why would overflow hidden squish it? Squish it real good. That's not gonna work. Let's just do overflow auto. Okay, and so we still do have an issue with padding or something left and right, making it to where you can move the screen around. Okay, that's not going to do very much for me. I'm going to figure that out. Okay, get your finances on track. Question is this font size too small? And then is this gap between the title and the font size too small? And the caption too small? Is that because you are display flex and it is the gap? It is. So display flex, and instead we're going to make the gap. What does 0.5 ems look like? Pretty good. I do like that better. I don't like that the bottom button. What if we made it a fixed? Yeah, there's still something in the title. Weird. Is it just me, or does the gap between the title and the button, the title and the main content, and then the content and the button, look like different sizes? Weird. Title wrapper. And font size small. Oh, I think I need to change. Do I need to change that? Can we just keep it at whatever I had it at before? It was probably font size small, since I didn't really see a change. Excuse me. Base font size small. Yeah, okay, so it did get overwritten to font size small. Let's change it back to base font size at this size. See what it looks like. Okay, I do like that better. I did say that I wanted the gap to be 0.5. And then, man, this button really, really needs something else. Hero gets started. Like a margin top. Justify. So, wait, are you column? Flex column? You've got to be flex column. Yeah. So this is a line self, which I don't know if you can use in flex. You can. Awesome. All right. And then we need to make it bigger. Font size. Maybe we need to make it bigger on the main styling. Yeah. And the size that I would like to use is breakpoint. Font. I don't know where I put font. Font sizing. 1.2, so probably H6. Oops, not you. I know, that was an accident. Okay. Yes, I like it. What happens if we make it all caps? Text transform uppercase. Looks a little awkward. That looks a little awkward. And of course, for those of you that are lurking and chilling and having a good time, definitely ignore this. But if any of you do have any opinions or suggestions or ideas or thoughts, feel free to voice them. Feel free to type them in chat, and I will be happy to listen in. But absolutely no requirements. I hope you're all just having a nice chill time, hanging out, hanging about. Right. I'm going to refresh because there are some styles that were left behind I want to clean up. Okay, good. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm probably going to end up putting a little bit, hello Xcoding. I'm probably going to end up putting a little bit more of a gap between the image and the title. I really don't want to say it in this way, but I'm going to say it in this way. I think you have the skills to be able to do the things that I am doing with UI. I think we feel the same about our own UI skills, and I don't think you are as bad as you think you are. Which is to say that I have gained confidence in my own UI skills, although I still don't feel like I'm very good at it. But this overall is starting to look like something. So I'm kind of happy with that. But yeah, now that you're here, here's a nice shout out for Xcoding. If you are into some deeper level software development, Xcoding is working on are you still doing the OS on stream? Sometimes you shift around from project to project, but I think you are working on, at minimum, the terminal, the custom terminal, but you also were talking about working on the OS for a while. So you're back to the terminal. Okay, cool. So he's working on making his own custom terminal with new features. Awesome. Very chill times over on his stream. Check him out if you have the availability to. 8-Bit said, back from a short meeting to hear about the UI thing. I think UI is something that just takes practice. There is, in TBDs, in my defense, there is an aesthetic that you either have or you don't have, an aesthetic feel, a guiding feel. And while you can get better at implementing things you see, it probably might consistently, I was going to use the word always, it might consistently be difficult for you to come up with that design yourself. And that's, I think, where we both struggle, is coming up with our own design based off of even what we see, instead of like, okay, I can take this other person's design and implement it because I know how to write HTML, I know how to write CSS. That part, definitely practice will help you improve. But actually coming up with those designs yourself, it's just having that aesthetic, having that intuition. Yeah. This is why CSS libraries were made. So you don't need that aesthetic. You just learn the rules for where to apply certain CSS classes, and the design will come in itself. By itself will just show up. TVD said, I was tinkering with the stuff I was doing on stream today, and then I'm going to set up the racing chair that Amazon finally delivered, see if I can end the day playing some Gran Turismo. Yay. I hope you have a lot of fun doing that. Snobble said, speaking of terminal, I read Windows Terminal is getting Sixel support. I don't know what Sixel is. I look forward to abuse it. Tell us what Sixel is. I am doing a talk on JavaZone, by the way, in 2 days. I heard something about it on Bindle's channel, but I wasn't fully tuned in, as per usual. But tell us what exactly the event is that you'll be at, and if we can watch it or a recording of it or anything. It's really cool to hear that you are talking at more places. Did we already do a full shout out for 8-Bits? 8-Bits per play is, I would call him an advanced Unity user, developer, but he's working on a 2D game that looks amazing. And it just fun times over on his stream too. You guys are all amazing. That's the point of this. I wish I could be friends with you because I like being friends with amazing people. Yeah. That's about it. Check out his streams. If you feel like talking about what you're doing, if you have any demos or examples or sites, like Snubble almost always has some shader laying demo thing that he can just show us and be like, I did this in 32 bits. Sixel is drawing pixel graphics, and the terminal was created by DEC in 1980. Funny thing is, if you watch my streams, you will watch me fumble so hard because I try to learn new things on stream. I love watching that. And it is a cycle of failure and then eureka moments. And again, like, not only do I get a high off of my own, this is hard, I can't figure this out, and then suddenly something just works and I'm like, oh, that was awesome. I also get that same vibe and feel from watching other people have those same types of moments. I'm talking at JavaZone about creating shader graphics. Got nothing to do with Java. Awesome. In 2 days. Right. You actually put that in your message and then I just completely blinked over it because I saw the word Java and I'm like, but that is really awesome. That's so cool to hear, Snubble. But yeah, I do find that entertaining, 8 bits. And I don't always have you turned up because there are a lot of times when I need to just, not need to, when I get super focused and then any external sound that I'm not controlling is just, it takes me out of flow. And so I want to stay in flow for as long as I can during that time. So I just sometimes mute the multi-stream tab. I know. Do I use Dribble for inspiration? On occasion, yes. Some of these designs... Some of these designs that we used while redesigning... Be this one here. Came from Dribble. So as you can see, we were taking inspiration from this one, this gradient from top to bottom from here, this panel layout design-ish thing. I still really like, I haven't really implemented anywhere, but I think this is how we're gonna lay out our tabs instead of them being across the top like they currently are. Oh, which is on this same page. Instead of them being payments, deposits, transfers, list management, it's going to be in a panel on the left like that. Even though this is a breadcrumb, I didn't look this closely at it, but I just like how it split the page from top to bottom with this nice clean feel. And then the footer section is just taking up this small space. And I really, really like that a lot. The whole borderless hero section came from both of these two. But yeah. We used Dribble. We used one other one that I can never remember the name of because I don't use it very often. It's none of these. Great. I didn't bookmark it. But here is my Dribble. Oops, that was right. Oh, it took me there anyway. Where do you go to get to your starred or favorites or liked collections? These were our concept boards. Yeah, and I was also taking inspiration from this too with the applications UI showing on a device screen. And I was like, that could be cool. That could be very cool. where if it detects that you're on a mobile device, yeah, scope creep. But anyway, point is, notice how a lot of the things that these have in common are that they're borderless, as in there is no hard horizontal line that's a different color than all of the things that separates them. The closest we get is from the nav bar to the hero section. There's this kind of faint horizontal rule almost. And then between each of the sections, it's just a difference in the color of the sections. One of the things that I'm really struggling with is that I don't have a lot of content in the footer, so I don't really know what to do with all this space. Like typically you see site maps with a whole bunch of stuff with different areas, and yeah, I don't have very much content to put in the footer. So I need some help with designing that. Is there a reason why you're avoiding moving your app to .NET 8? Not at all. We're definitely going to upgrade to .NET 8 after we are done implementing this round of UI redesign. So right now I am somewhat stuck on getting the responsive mobile view done. This one is mostly done. I think the only few things that we need to adjust are the font sizes. And oh, it looks like even at this width, the cards are vertical, so we're gonna have to deal with that. And then this size should already be done. But once we are fully done with it, then we're going to move on to the next step, which is to upgrade to .NET 8 on stream. I won't do that off stream, promise. As I mentioned, one of my favorite things to do is to upgrade legacy applications, and upgrading .NET versions is among that, especially going from framework to core. You see like instant benefits in performance. Even if you use the exact same UI, you do have to change the backend logic a bit, but I love it. I love it so much. All right. So with that though, I am going to say that 95%, what do you look like at 100? Yeah, I am going to say, oof, I'm not liking the gap anymore. How did we get such a large gap between the subtitle and the button just now? I added a margin top. Maybe I do like it just using the gap. It does look a little close. And the reason that it looks odd to me is because the gap between these two, and yeah, and the bottom aren't quite enough. So let's make the gap 0.4 rems with the padding bottom. This might end up not being a good idea, but I'm gonna see what it looks like. No, padding bottom, I said. Mr. Falcon. Okay, too big. Oops. Not big enough. Too small. Just right. We're gonna go with that for now. Okay. Yeah, once we get that right side padding to work, to be nice, then it'll look so much better. I wish I knew what exactly was causing it, but we're just gonna go one section at a time still. It doesn't look like it's the next section that's causing it. I really, really, really think it's the footer. But even when I told the footer to be overflow hidden so that it can't go outside of the bounds left and right, there was still a little bit of a horizontal situation going on there. So we'll find out what's going on. I use technical terms. Okay. All right, we're going to check in these changes that we just made for the hero section. I think. Styled hero responsive UI. I usually put applied hero responsive styling, but whatever. It's checked in. It's currently, as I showed before, on GitHub at this location. If you ever do feel like doing any kind of contribution work for an open source fun project, this is not official. This is not anything super important. But if you do feel like it, I do have some issues on there for the core logic of the application, such as in, I don't even know what I have on here. I'm just winging it. Chrome sizing issue. I don't remember what that is, but hopefully I wrote enough notes. Main page has a horizontal scroll in Chrome, but not in Firefox. Yes, true. So that's still a thing. UI layout redesign, which is the branch that we're currently in and working on, and I forgot to associate that commit with the work item. Oops. I have a task to create tasks for each part of the UI redesign. Help wanted. Create a sitemap. I honestly don't really know how to use or make sitemaps. I hear it's pretty simple, but I don't know. Add the ability to export the transactions. So the transaction list really is just a grid table. And thank you so much for the follow. I will not shout out your name unless you so want me to. And since you showed up in chat, thank you so much, Neon Polyform, for the follow. Hello, hello to you. You came in pretty close to the end of the stream, but still want to welcome you in. Data entry. Go. Okay. So for, again, this part isn't redesigned yet. I haven't applied any different styles. So this is all of the original styles on top of my new background. That's about it. And my new header for the layout. But you can still see that the transaction table is a full list of transactions. You can even do it by account that you're tracking. So having an export for all of these views, having some sort of filter that you can apply to the transactions themselves, and then export that, that's what that issue is about. Dismiss button on the is not used in the template in modal. Okay, good. Implementing identity. Account types disappear after creating a new account. Is that still true? Who wants an account for me to track? How about 8 bits per play? 8 bits per play. Unity overhaul. Fun. That's going to be a savings account. Open it today. The starting balance of goose egg. So no, they don't disappear. So that's probably not an issue anymore. If someone wants to take it and just be like, it's not an issue anymore. That'd be nice. Do you code for quant finance? What is quant? Quant finance. That sounds like it's a very specific thing. This application is just a stream project, and it came about because I used to stream my day job, and then I got a job where I couldn't stream my day job, but I still wanted to stream Blazor work. And we came up with a project, and it just happened to be a project that is based off of a data entry system that I use personally, but I use Microsoft Access for it. Oh, we can close Big Gamey's PC pool. He got his PC, although he might still be trying to get a different one. But anyway, this app is just for fun. just to show hopefully good principles in practice, as if this were an actual application that we would want to, or that we're creating for a customer that we got contracted to create. And so I'm trying to employ good programming practices and structure, architecture, as well as showing Blazor as if we were making a for real product. Quant in finance is basically using codes to trade and analyze the financial markets. No, I am not doing that. Hello, Duncan Stamp. You're curious, do I play D&D? I play a game called Tainted Grail. That's the only tabletop game I currently, well, no, two of them. I currently play Tainted Grail tabletop game and Etherfields. Both of them are from a company named Awaken Realms in High Abydos. Awaken Realms is amazing. I used to play D&D a long time ago, but the thing that I like about Tainted Grail and even Etherfields is that you get a journal, and the journal is your dungeon master. You can ask anything you want, but I am going to go to my ending screen because I am getting close to ending my stream, but I will answer your question. May I ask, would a Star Wars Evil D&D maybe interest you to join? It's a political strategic thing. Probably not. If it involves playing with other people. If it could be played with just me and my wife, and you're like asking us to demo it and test it out, then yeah, absolutely. But if you're asking me to join an existing or a new group of people, probably not. I don't do very much stuff outside of the stream. Only if it involves using Blazor. It does sound cool though. It sounds really cool. My characters are relatively neutral in nature. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can't even remember the terms if this is even a valid combination, but like lawful neutral is probably what I would be. I don't have the patience for board games. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here, Rollers. I will be back again on Wednesday from 2 hours ago to now. That's my normal stream time. But just to elaborate on Tainted Grail though, Abydos, it does take a little bit of involvement and time. Like if you aren't just gonna leave your setup out, then tearing down and resetting back up for sessions is not a very easy thing to do. But if you're just going to leave it out, like my wife and I just walk over to this table that's set up with the Tainted Grail board play area on it, play for a little while. When we're done with the session, we just walk away. And we think about it a lot because it's such a good game. It's so good. But yeah. Can recommend to everyone. But thank you all for being here. Thank you so much. If you are interested in seeing any of our past videos, I post all of the VODs to YouTube at some point in the future. So right now it should be posted up through Friday's stream, and Fridays on this channel are community days, and you can find out what all that is about later. But you can also feel free, but not pressured, to join our Discord. If you're already a part of a lot of Discord servers, then don't worry too much about it. We're a relatively quiet Discord server, but there are a lot of really knowledgeable, very friendly people, especially beginner-friendly people. If you do need a place to go and ask questions about programming or software or technology in general, it's a good place to go to ask a question. Maybe you just want to hop in for your question and then be like, okay, that's all I needed. Definitely welcome to do that. Definitely welcome to stay and converse and have deeper discussions about things if you want, but no pressure. We're going to raid because it's always so easy for me to do. Like right now I would raid Red Cabin, but I need to step away pretty quickly, and I feel more comfortable stepping away when I raid Big Gamey because I'm usually in his stream all day long that he streams. But I need to run for a minute and then I will be back to that. But yeah, if you feel like it, feel free to join again. Wednesday, like I said, is my next streaming day from 2 hours ago, which is 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, UTC -6, until 12:30 UTC -6 until now. Okay. And he just got the hat redeemed. Okay, ciao for now. Whew. For those of you that do not wave at the end of your stream, you need to up your game. Waving is important.